And if they come, then we can start it over.
So, tell us who you are.
My name is Alan Sparhawk. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. Okay, yes, like he said, please make some noise because it'll be your last chance because I'm afraid we're going to make a lot of it. To make them shut. You want to make them pay. You want to sing your little song, turn the raging phone up. I want to hear every drop.
And what band do you play in?
I just got done playing a set with a band called the Retribution Gospel Choir, but I also play in a band called Low and another band called Black Eyed Snakes.
Since you played with Retribution this evening, why don't you tell us a little bit about how your band got its beginning?
Well, I've lived here for a number of years and had the opportunity to meet a lot of the musicians in town, and a lot of times you get to play music with them, and so you get to know the scene around here pretty easily, or at least I have, just because I've been here for so many years. And so you get to know good musicians and people you get along with, and you know, sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it works really well, and you know, sometimes you just do a show and it's fun, but sometimes it goes well, so you do another one. But yeah, the band really just started just as sort of a quick whim. Lowe was supposed to play Homegrown, I guess probably 4 or 5 years ago, and we had to cancel, but to fill the spot, we got together with these guys, and we did a set of all Duluth covers, bands that we knew, and Bob Dylan cover was probably the worst part of the set, unfortunately, but we gave it a shot. But yeah, we started and did a few shows, and it was working really well, so we did some more, and then eventually recorded a CD, and sort of step by step, it went pretty well. I mean, being in Low was definitely sort of a foot in the door for some things initially, but I don't know, by the time we did our second record, I think we started getting people that were there because they liked the band and not just because they were curious about what I was up to. But yeah, it's been fun. We've been able to go to Europe a couple times, for some reason, especially Spain. We played a festival over there years ago, and it went really well. It's just sort of the right time of night, and the Spanish people were intoxicated enough that we were the big hit of the night for some reason. So we were able to go back and play more shows, and go again and play more shows after that. And it's pretty cool to see the countryside there and play in smaller towns especially. And, so yeah, we've been really lucky. So far it's been really fun.
So you said that Low opened the door for Retribution. Do you think that Retribution has opened any doors for future projects?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I've probably had enough on my plate right now. I'm always trying little things, but I gotta be pretty convinced to feel like I gotta put it in front of my friends. I've gotta talk. I've got to be strong. Yeah, I've gotta walk like a man. I
You said that you had a lot on your plate. What is Retribution, and what do you personally have planned for the upcoming months with the summer music season getting into full swing?
Well, we're doing a few things. I think we might be playing at the Tall Ship Festival, to be announced, and I think we're playing Homegrown Music Festival in May, and a couple different things, but we'll probably try to record this summer and do a little bit more. We do these sets sometimes where we play reggae music, reggae grooves, sort of different from the rock show, but that's really fun, and it's fun to get people dancing and stuff, so we might try to do some more of that this summer too.
Cool. So you have a really large fan base in the Twin Ports, and it seems to be growing, like you said, with your traveling to Europe. Do you have any advice for up-and-coming bands in the Twin Ports? Anything that you wish that a band had told you when you were trying to get your foot in the door?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of ways you can waste your time and energy kind of hoping and spending your efforts on certain things, certain ways that are kind of a waste of time that it takes a while to learn, And a lot of that really is based on, I think the only way to kind of avoid that is to always look at your band and say, okay, what do we need to do? What can we do? And if you can do any of those things yourself, even on the smallest level, do that. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Don't wait for a record company to come along and like what you're doing. Don't wait for, don't send your CD to a club and wait for them to call you or wait for whatever. Just go out and do what you can. I mean, even if it means putting on your own show, whether it's an all-ages show somewhere at a laundromat or whatever. I mean, it's sort of a beaten horse a lot in our generation, for sure. But the whole ethic of DIY, the do-it-yourself ethic, is really, I think, an important thing and a very vital part of what the last 20-some years of music and culture has done. I mean, there's a new generation now that understands that you got to kind of figure it out yourself. If you've got to be who you are, and if you can't, you can't wait for someone else to, whether it's the government or whether it's the people in power or whatever, whoever's owning things, you can't wait for them to make the decision for you, because they're not really listening. And there's so many things that you can do on your own. And another important thing, I think, a friend of mine there's this guy that I've known in Belgium I've worked with for many years. He's always promoted our records and stuff. And I remember him telling me, taking me aside recently, he said, I've recently, he's a big fan of American music. He says, I've realized now why American music is good and why so much good music comes out of America. It's because kids in America are surrounded with music and they learn to play stuff. I mean, it seems silly. We just think, oh, yeah, well, duh. I mean, kids, in our culture, kids, music's around, they learn things. And kids learn a little piano, and kids pick up a little guitar. It seems like a small thing, but in relation to the rest of the world, it's a really unique and special thing. And hopefully something we're not losing, whether it's lost money in schools or just our culture changing. But it's a really vital thing, and it really comes down to the fact that our culture, what makes the music good is that people spend the time with playing, It's hard when you're young because you're anxious, you want to do something, and as soon as you know a couple chords, you want to be able to go out and play and change the world, and you should. But just don't neglect those moments where you're just working at it, because that's really the core of what's going to make who you are. And the doing of it, and the doing of it, and the doing of it, and doing of it. I mean, it sounds just like practice makes perfect, and practice every day, but really that's what it comes down to. Do what you love, do it every day, and it'll become part of your soul, and it'll take you where it needs to go, and it doesn't need to necessarily be success. It has more to do with being happy with what you're doing and feeling like you're saying something that means something, and being heard, even if it's just one person, especially to someone you love, So I don't know. I'm not sure if I answered anything, but there's a couple real nuggets in there, I'm sure.
An electric guitar, nobody plays like you. Your dirty old car, closing the bar. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
What are you gonna do?
Jah is a forgiver.
Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
It could be the pigs. It could be